You think you know Keanu Reeves from the movies. The guy who dodges bullets in The Matrix. The man who fights with a pencil in John Wick. But what I'm about to tell you isn't from any movie. This is real. This is about the 3 days that changed everything. 3 days when Keanu stayed in a hospital room with his sister. 3 days after she had already died. And nobody stopped him. Nobody said a word. Let me tell you why. Before we start, hit that subscribe button because this story will show you who Keanu really is. Not the action hero. Not the movie star. But the brother. The human being. The man who refused to leave his sister's side, even when everyone else had already said goodbye. This story starts way before that hospital room. It starts with 2 kids. Keanu and his little sister, Kim. They grew up together, and life wasn't easy. Their dad left when they were young. Their mom was trying her best. They moved around a lot. Different cities. Different countries. Different schools. But through all of it, Keanu and Kim had each other. Keanu was the older brother. He looked out for Kim. Protected her. Made her laugh when things got hard. And Kim? She was his biggest fan. Even before the world knew his name, Kim believed in her brother. They were more than just siblings. They were best friends. Kim would wait up for Keanu when he came home late from auditions. She'd ask him how it went. She'd tell him he'd get the next one when he faced rejection. She never doubted him. Not once. When Keanu started acting, Kim was right there cheering him on. When he got small parts, she celebrated like he'd won an Oscar. When he finally made it big, she was the one person who never treated him differently. They had that kind of bond. The kind you can't fake. The kind that doesn't care about fame or money. Just brother and sister. Just family. Then in 1991, something terrible happened. Kim got sick. Really sick. She was diagnosed with leukemia. That's a type of cancer that attacks your blood. It's deadly. It's painful. And it doesn't care how old you are or how good of a person you are. Kim was young. She had her whole life ahead of her. And suddenly, she was fighting just to survive. Keanu was filming movies at this time. His career was taking off. He was becoming famous. People wanted him for big projects. Big money. Big opportunities. But none of that mattered to him. When Kim got sick, Keanu did something that most Hollywood stars would never do. He put his career on pause. He turned down roles. He canceled projects. He walked away from millions of dollars. Why? Because his sister needed him. Keanu spent the next several years taking care of Kim. He went to her treatments. He sat with her during chemotherapy. He held her hand when she was in pain. He made her smile when she wanted to cry. He didn't do this for cameras. He didn't do this for publicity. Most people didn't even know it was happening. Keanu kept it private. He kept it between him and his sister. Friends say that Keanu would read to Kim during her treatments. He'd bring her favorite books, her favorite music. He'd tell her jokes to distract her from the pain. He became her nurse, her friend, her protector all over again. Leukemia is a horrible disease. It takes everything from you. Your energy, your hair, your strength, your hope. Kim fought it for 10 years. 10 years of hospitals. 10 years of treatments. 10 years of pain. And Keanu was there for all of it. He bought her a house so she'd be comfortable. He paid for the best doctors. The best treatments. Whatever she needed. Money meant nothing to him. His sister meant everything. There were times when Kim got better. Times when it looked like she might beat it. Keanu would light up during those times. He'd take her out. They'd have fun. They'd laugh like they did when they were kids. But then the cancer would come back. And they'd be back in the hospital. Back to the treatments. Back to the fight. Through it all, Keanu never complained. Never felt sorry for himself. Never acted like it was a burden. He loved his sister. And love doesn't keep score. Love doesn't ask for anything back. People on movie sets would notice Keanu taking phone calls during breaks. They'd see him rushing off between scenes. He never explained why. He never made excuses. He just did what he had to do. Because that's what brothers do. That's what family means. Directors learned not to schedule Keanu for long shoots. They knew he needed flexibility. He needed to be able to leave at any moment if Kim needed him. And they respected that. Because even in Hollywood, some people understand what really matters. By 2001, Kim had been fighting for a decade. Her body was tired. The treatments weren't working like they used to. The doctors were running out of options. Keanu knew what was coming. You can see it in photos from that time. His eyes look different. Sadder. Like he's carrying a weight that's too heavy for one person. But he never showed that sadness to Kim. When he was with her, he smiled. He joked. He was the big brother she needed. Strong. Steady. There. Then came the day every brother fears. The day when the doctors say there's nothing more they can do. The day when fighting turns into saying goodbye. Kim was moved to a hospital room. Keanu was by her side. He held her hand. He talked to her. He told her stories about when they were kids. About the good times. About how much she meant to him. He reminded her of the time they snuck cookies from the kitchen. The time they got lost in a new city and laughed about it. The time she defended him from bullies at school. All the little moments that make up a life together. And then, quietly, peacefully, Kim passed away. This is where most stories would end. The funeral. The goodbye. Everyone goes home. Life moves on. But not for Keanu. When Kim died, something happened that the nurses had never seen before. Keanu didn't leave. He stayed in that hospital room. With his sister's body. For 3 whole days. He pulled a chair next to her bed. He sat down. And he stayed. The nurses didn't know what to do. Usually, when someone passes away, the family says goodbye and the body is taken to the morgue. But Keanu wasn't leaving. And the nurses, they didn't have the heart to make him go. They saw something in his eyes. A pain so deep that words couldn't touch it. A love so strong that rules didn't matter. So they let him stay. For 3 days, Keanu sat in that room. He talked to Kim like she could still hear him. He held her hand like she could still feel it. He cried tears that nobody else saw. The nurses would check on him. Bring him water. Ask if he needed anything. He'd shake his head. He didn't want food. He didn't want comfort. He just wanted time. Time with his sister. Time to process what had happened. Time to say all the things he needed to say. Some nurses would peek through the door window. They'd see him just sitting there. Completely still. Lost in memories. Lost in grief. One nurse said it looked like he was having conversations with Kim. Like he was remembering every moment they'd shared together. Every laugh. Every hug. Every time she'd been there for him. Another nurse recalled seeing him with his head bowed, tears streaming down his face, but completely silent. The kind of crying that comes from a place so deep inside that sound can't reach it. The kind of grief that changes a person forever. Now let me tell you what happened in that room. The nurses at that hospital had seen a lot of things. Death is part of their job. Grief is something they witness every day. But they had never seen anything like this. One nurse later said that Keanu barely moved. He just sat there, next to Kim's bed, holding her hand. Sometimes he would talk. Soft words that nobody else could hear. Sometimes he would just sit in silence, staring at nothing. He wasn't angry. He wasn't dramatic. He was just there. Present. In his grief. Not running from it. Not hiding it. Just feeling it. The hospital had rules. Procedures. But the staff made a decision. They decided that some things are more important than rules. They decided that love deserves time. So they gave Keanu that time. They stopped other people from coming into that room. They protected his privacy. They let him grieve in his own way, at his own pace. One nurse said she'd never forget the look on his face. It wasn't the face of a movie star. It was the face of a broken-hearted brother. Raw. Real. Human. Another nurse mentioned that during shift changes, they would quietly tell each other about the man in the room. They'd say, "Leave him be. He needs this time." Word spread through the hospital. Everyone knew. And everyone agreed to protect him. The head nurse made it official. She told the staff that this man had just lost his sister after watching her suffer for 10 years. She said they would give him space. They would give him respect. They would give him time. And that's exactly what they did. You might be wondering why 3 days. Why not 1? Why not a week? The truth is, nobody knows for sure. Keanu has never talked about it publicly. He's one of the most private celebrities in the world. He doesn't do tell-all interviews. He doesn't share his pain for likes or views. But people who understand grief say that 3 days makes sense. 3 days to process. 3 days to accept. 3 days to transition from she's here to she's gone. In many cultures, 3 days is significant. It's a sacred amount of time. Time for the soul to leave. Time for the living to adjust. Time for goodbye to really mean goodbye. For Keanu, those 3 days were his way of honoring his sister. His way of not rushing. His way of saying, "You mattered too much for me to just walk away." Maybe he needed 3 days to remember everything. Every conversation. Every moment. Every time she made him laugh. Every time he made her smile. 3 days to hold on to a lifetime of memories. When Keanu finally left that hospital room, he was a different person. Grief changes you. Loss changes you. And Keanu had already been through so much. See, Kim wasn't his only loss. Just a few years before Kim died, Keanu's girlfriend Jennifer had a stillborn baby. Their daughter, Ava, was born dead at 8 months. And then, just months after that, Jennifer died in a car accident. Think about that. In the span of a few years, Keanu lost his daughter, his girlfriend, and his sister. Most people would break. Most people would become bitter, angry, closed off. But Keanu? He became kinder. He could have given up. He could have turned away from the world. He could have let the pain turn him into someone hard and cold. But he didn't. He chose a different path. He chose to let his pain make him more human, not less. After Kim's death, something shifted in Keanu. People in Hollywood started noticing things. Small things. Kind things. He started riding the subway instead of taking limos. He'd give up his seat to women. He'd chat with regular people like he was just another guy. He started taking pay cuts so that other people on his movies could get paid more. On The Matrix, he gave away millions of his own salary to the special effects and costume teams. He started a cancer charity. A private one. One that he never put his name on. He just quietly donated millions to hospitals. To research. To help people like his sister. When fans would meet him on the street, he wouldn't rush away. He'd stop. He'd talk. He'd take photos. He'd treat them like they mattered. Because to him, they did. There are countless stories of Keanu being kind. Buying ice cream for people. Helping stranded motorists. Sitting with homeless people and just talking to them. Treating everyone with the same respect, whether they're a CEO or a janitor. One story tells of Keanu stopping his motorcycle to help a woman whose car broke down. He didn't just call for help. He waited with her. Talked to her. Made sure she felt safe until help arrived. That's who he is now. You see, those 3 days in the hospital taught Keanu something. They taught him that time is the most valuable thing we have. Not money. Not fame. Time. Time with the people we love. Time to be present. Time to show up. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Kim's death taught him that life is short. That tomorrow isn't promised. That the only thing that really matters is how we treat each other right now. Today. This moment. And Keanu took that lesson and lived it. Every single day. He learned that you can't get time back. Those 3 days sitting with Kim's body were his last chance to be with her. He took it. He didn't rush. He didn't let the world tell him when it was time to move on. He decided. And that choice changed him. For years, the nurses who worked at that hospital never told anyone about those 3 days. They protected Keanu's privacy. They respected his grief. It wasn't until much later that the story came out. And even then, it came out quietly. No big headlines. No interviews. Just whispers. Stories shared between people who understood that what happened in that room was sacred. Those nurses could have sold the story. Could have made money. Could have gotten famous for 15 minutes. But they didn't. Because they understood that some moments aren't meant to be sold. Some pain isn't meant to be entertainment. They saw a man in his darkest hour, and they chose compassion over profit. They chose humanity over headlines. That says as much about them as it does about Keanu. Years later, one retired nurse shared the story at a grief counseling group. She said it was the most beautiful thing she'd ever witnessed. Not because it was happy, but because it was pure. Pure love. Pure grief. Pure humanity. This story isn't just about Keanu. It's about all of us. About how we deal with loss. How we show love. How we honor the people who matter to us. Keanu teaches us that it's okay to grieve. It's okay to take time. It's okay to not be okay. He teaches us that money and fame mean nothing if you don't have people to share it with. He teaches us that kindness isn't weakness. It's strength. He teaches us that the way we treat people in private is more important than how we act in public. He shows us that the hardest moments in life can make us better people. That loss doesn't have to make us bitter. That pain can open our hearts instead of closing them. Today, Keanu rarely talks about Kim. But if you look closely, you can see her influence everywhere in his life. The way he treats people with respect. The way he values privacy. The way he gives without expecting anything back. The way he shows up for people. That's all Kim. That's all love. That's all those 3 days in a hospital room where a brother refused to leave his sister's side. Kim fought leukemia for 10 years. She showed Keanu what real strength looks like. What courage means. what it means to keep going even when everything hurts. And Keanu honored that. He still honors that. Every day. Every act of kindness Keanu does is a tribute to Kim. Every time he helps someone, he's living out the lessons she taught him. She's gone, but she's still changing the world through him. So yeah, Keanu Reeves is John Wick. He's Neo. He's a movie star. But more than that, he's a brother who loved his sister so much that he couldn't say goodbye in just one day. He needed 3. And the nurses? They understood. They gave him that time. And they never told. Until the story eventually found its way out. As true stories always do. The next time you see Keanu on screen, remember this. Remember the man behind the character. Remember the brother in the hospital room. Remember that the best people in the world aren't the ones who never fall down. They're the ones who get back up. Who keep loving. Who keep showing up. That's Keanu Reeves. A man who turned his deepest pain into his greatest strength. A man who shows us every day that kindness matters. That love matters. That taking time to say goodbye matters. If this story touched you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Because in a world that moves so fast, sometimes we all need to be reminded to slow down, to be present, to love the people we have while we still have them. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.